No, 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 no. Wait, 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 wait. Wait, 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 wait.
That's right, people. Stall is back in UUbers. So it's the recent December changes. I want to talk about who dropped down to UUbers and some other pretty big changes have come up that I think will be pretty healthy for the minigame. So first of all, we have the drops. No one rose to Ubers, which is pretty nice. It means we aren't missing out on any Pokemon. And more importantly, we have 3 new members for UUbers. Dondozo, Giratina, and Corviknight. All of these are really great defensive Pokemon, which I think will help out dealing with a very offensive meta that we've had so far, with things like Zacian, Arceus Fire, Palafin, all running pretty crazy. Another note is that Last Respects has been banned, pretty much a unanimous decision by the council, which means the Basculation F, who was banned because of Last Respects, has been unbanned. So now you can use Basculation female again. So let's go over the drops and what they do. First we have Dondozo, the funny catfish. This is the best physical wall the game's ever had. Its only drawback is that it has to use rest for recovery. Other than that, it has a lot of great traits. Usually you'll be running something like Cursed, Rest, Sleep, Talk, and Liquidation just to be fat. Because, I mean, once this thing curses, you're not breaking it. Sometimes you'll see Protect, Body Press, or Avalanche, but those are more niche picks. I think you'll mostly see that first set run in UUbers. Dondozo is great in this here because it'll help deal with a lot of those offensive Pokemon, the physical ones that have been really tearing stuff up. So Zacian, Arceus with Dragon Dance or Swords Dance, and Palafin pretty much all get shut down by Dondozo, almost completely. The only thing that Zacian can do is go for Banded Wild Charge. And when Banded Wild Charge is your best option, you're not doing well. Even though that itself is a fairly rare pick, I mean ban and then also including Wild Charge. But that's also very prediction reliant. You know, you can get off the hit, but if you have a Dondozo and you sniff out the Zacian that has a Wild Charge and banned, you can play around that pretty easily. Dondozo is basically just going to be replacing Quagsire. I don't think you'll be seeing Quagsire much at all anymore. Because, I mean, Dondozo, first of all, typings are pretty similar, water to water ground. There's not a whole lot of difference there. But the defensive stat difference is humongous. Dondozo has 55 more HP and 30 more defense. Just huge. And it does have, unlike Quagsire, has a better matchup against Palafin because it doesn't have that water neutrality. However, Dondozo only really works on stall teams. I don't think you should be using it outside of a strict stall because it pretty much just sits there and does almost nothing. Like, it can curse up and then throw off some chunky liquidations, but other than that, it's meant to just stop things. So if you want to use a bulky water type but you're not running stall or you're running balance or something, unless you strictly need a Dondozo, I would say you should probably use something like Alomomola, which can do Wish Passing and preserve momentum with Flip Turn. Regenerate, of course, is also nice for that kind of team. Next we have Giratina, another returning UUbers Pokemon, because Dondozo actually was previously in UUbers, and so is Giratina. So Giratina was, when UUbers was in its nascent form, the best defensive Pokemon, I think, and it'll continue to do that role. The typing is pretty nice, and it has a lot of really nice utility. Will-O-Wisp, Roar, Defog, Dragon Tail, these are all great options. And it can also defog pretty reliably because Goldego doesn't want to switch in and block this guy if you're going up against a hazard stack team. Because Goldego is going to be risking taking, you know, a Dragon Tail, a Hex, a Shadow Ball. It doesn't want to take any of those moves. So it's going to be a pretty reliable way to keep hazards off of your team. Primarily, Giratina is another physical defensive Pokemon because its utility really matches better with that physical role because of things like Will-O-Wisp really shutting those Pokemon down. If you get a Will-O-Wisp on Palafin, it's useless. Giratina, I believe, can also run Thunder Wave, so you have to be careful of that. But yeah, this guy is going to be really good at defeating things like Palafin again, Rillaboom. Physical Arceus really struggle unless you're running like Arceus Dragon, and Sneasler also really struggles to touch Giratina. It has to go like Terra Dark, Night Slash just to do anything to it. It's also good against Arceus with Taunt, running the set usually, because it can force it out with Dragon Tail. So having a easy to slot in Pokemon that can force out setup threats and not worry about Taunt, that's always a great attribute for defensive playstyle. And finally, we have Corviknight, who is brand new to UUbers, so it's the first time we're seeing it at all. And I am really happy about this drop, because it is a great defensive Pokemon, as anyone who's played any OU or whatnot would know. I mean, 2 immunities, 8 resistances is huge. And this is also going to be good on mostly balanced teams, I think, because it has another Defog user, which is great, and can preserve momentum with U-Turn. Also can run goofy sets like Power Trip, Bulk Up, Brave Bird, Iron Head. Can run some more niche stuff like that, but primarily Defog, Roost, U-Turn, then Body Press or Brave Bird is what you're going to see. Can also fit on stall teams, just Iron Defense, Body Press, just using pressure to stall physical moves and be fat, while also threatening to chunk them back with Body Press. Corviknight is going to be a nice defensive presence, and this is someone I'm happy to see in UUbers because it's never like overbearing, right? There's always a decent way to deal with Corviknight, and if you don't have a decent way to deal with Corviknight and UUbers, like that's just a sign of bad team building, I think. So Corviknight being back is really nice. And so having talked about those guys, I want to talk about why I think these guys are a great addition to UUbers. So I think a good meta has a healthy balance of defensive and offensive play. The state that UUbers was in November was heavily favoring offense. You know, if you played on the if you played on the ladder, you're probably going to see a primarily offensive team like 9 out of 10 times. Because at that point, Stall was very difficult to run and Balance 2 was difficult to run. But now that we have these Stall Pokemon back, Stall pretty much defeats offense, and Hyper Offense specifically, on the spot. The meticulous nature of Stall means that you can't really break past it the way you want to on Hyper Offense very easily. And I think this would be good. I think this will open up team building because you have to be prepared for things like Dondozo and Giratina and Corviknight now. So I think we're going to see offense get hampered a bit by that. So now that we have better defensive counterplay, we should see a bit less of these overbearing offensive threats now that they have sought counters. So now I think the metagame will be a bit more balanced with offense and defense, which will also, I think, give rise to balanced teams. Because Balance doesn't really like to deal with hyper offense. It's a bit hard to deal with all of the big threats they have. But now that people aren't going to be running hyper offense as much, I think it's more reasonable to run a balanced team. And overall, I think this will be great for the meta. I think it'll be more diverse and interesting. You won't just see Zacian, Arceus Fire in every game, and Psychos are constantly passing Shed Tails to those guys. You know, it's going to get a bit stale if things didn't change, and luckily things have changed. And so yeah, that's just my perception of the December changes for UUbers, and I think Stall being back is a great thing. Thanks for watching. See ya.